Oh, hi there, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I'll be talking about dating guys with Asperger syndrome, or as it's now called, high-functioning autism. And I know what you're thinking now, guys as in plural, what are the chances when only about like 1 in 60 or 1 in 70 people are believed to be on the spectrum? But men tend to be affected about 4 times as often as women, I believe, and I like guys who are highly intelligent, who have interesting hobbies, who are more on the shy, introverted side, like I am, and who don't come on really strongly soon after I meet them. So, certainly more or less subconsciously selected for some of those traits that some Aspies typically have. And I work in the tech industry, so I'm around Aspies there a lot, and I come from a family where I now realize, there are several people on the autism spectrum. So a lot of these Aspie traits that feel kind of alienating and weird to a lot of other neurotypicals, they feel to me very familiar and comforting. And as you can tell, I'm German, so us Germans have like some cultural built-in Aspie traits almost, where we're more technical and analytical, and we're not that much about this, superficial socializing. We are fine with silences and stuff like that. So that probably added to that, as well as the fact that, as a foreigner living in the United States, I'm very aware that social norms are relative, not absolute. So, especially in the first years after I came to this country, I often felt like I didn't quite fit in, didn't know quite what to do or say. So other people who sometimes feel awkward or might not know how to act in situations, perfectly, that I feel a kinship with them. So add all this up, and I only started researching this Asperger's thing fairly recently in depth, and I looked back and I went like, wow, in all these years since my divorce a long time ago, looks like many, if not most, of the guys that I dated or tried to date or had long-term relationships with were on the autism spectrum or had that Asperger's, that highly functioning autism. And I get in some other videos into why I think that's the case. But and the more research I did, the more I realized there are not that many great resources out there for older people with Asperger's. Well, I'm in my mid-40s, so the guys I dated over the years were like from their mid-30s to mid-50s-ish. And while there are a lot of resources for parents with kids on the spectrum or young people who then often get diagnosed early in life, there's not that much for people who got diagnosed late or not at all. Just those awkward, shy, nerdy guys who are highly intelligent but don't seem to do that well when it comes to socially interacting with people and going on dates and building relationships with women. So so I figured, okay, might want to put my experiences and perspectives out there in case it helps somebody. And as a shy person, my first impulse was to just write a blog, but then I realized, autism is all about communication, and that social, emotional reciprocity, and also facial cues, body language, etc. And it helped me so much to learn about it, just watching all these YouTubers that tell things from their life, that recount their own experiences as people with Asperger's or on the spectrum. So in the end I decided, well, this is like way out of my comfort zone, but I just gotta do a series of videos So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm not so much into social media, so I apologize in advance. Like if you comment on these videos or if you contact me. I also have a very demanding day job and my technological interests, etc. So I will not be able to get back to you and respond like super quickly like the young kids nowadays do. I'm from a generation where you can take 1 or 2 days to answer anything. Oh yeah, and speaking of, I am in my mid-40s, so yeah, and I'll be talking about people that just make up like a tiny fraction of the autism spectrum. Those shy nerdy guys between 35 and 55ish. So if you come to this channel and you're trying to look for dating advice and you've never been on the first date, or if you're a female Aspie, or if you are so far on the spectrum that maybe a person could tell that you have a neurological condition within 10 minutes or an hour of meeting you, then this channel will probably not be so helpful for you, because I'll be talking about guys who blend in well, have jobs, some had been married before, they socialize, they go on meetup events, and they go on online dating sites and try to date, and you only really realize once you get to know them better that something is off. And then I'll be talking about the typical challenges that come up after the 2nd, 3rd, 4th date, or as you try to build a relationship, where you go like, what's going on? I certainly had a lot of insights along those lines. So yeah, so much for this intro. I'll probably make a couple more videos just about, okay, who am I? And why do I still say Asperger syndrome when now the correct name is high functioning autism, and all that kind of stuff. But you can look for those videos. I apologize in general because I'll probably be like generalizing way too much, or say Aspies are like this, or Aspies tend to do that, when there's a saying, if you've met one person with Asperger's, you've met one person with Asperger's. And that's certainly true in my experience, that the guys I dated were as different as could be, and only in hindsight I put together that they had certain things in common. There, for example, there are like very extroverted Aspies out there as well, and so the people I'll be talking about are just of one certain kind, and you just have to take from these videos what applies to you or what helps, and then if you find it's not so helpful, just move on and look for other resources. And I apologize again in advance if I generalize, or if I'm like too brutally honest, because that's, for us Germans, we don't sugarcoat as often, and I know it can be extremely traumatic growing up with a neurological condition that might have caused you to be bullied, that caused a big disconnect with other people, and I'm afraid that from my neurotypical perspective I might say things like, this comes across as weird or strange, or this rubbed me the wrong way, or whatever, and I really hope I don't hurt people further who are already struggling. But sometimes I think honesty and directness, just as another typical Aspie trait, there can be a lot of value in that. So with this I'm going to wrap this up, and again, if you find this helpful, check out my other videos, and if you do, I look forward to talking with you again really soon. Bye!